Righty. All righty. Good stuff. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi. Where it's the afternoon for me. I'm in Amsterdam.
For me,
You
it's
know,
too. I'm in Berlin.
you're in Berlin. Oh, same time zone. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I love Berlin. Berlin's beautiful. I took my daughter there a couple years ago, and I very quickly realized because I mean we went to Berlin and we went to Hamburg, and I've got my friend um, Martin Lippert. He's the lead of the Spring Tooling initiatives, all the Visual Studio Code and Eclipse. Excuse me, indigestion.
You source
And
tool suite, right?
sorry.
You mean tool suite, right?
Yeah, Spring Tool Suite, but also the Visual Studio Code plugin that we extracted from. Yeah. So
So did you like it? Did you like?
well, yes, but yeah, of course. So Berlin was a real. It's like a big city, and then Hamburg it's much smaller, but it's also there with the water, the lake in the middle is so beautiful, and yeah, we had a great time. But Berlin's also very it it feels very industrial
Yeah.
at parts, and it's a strange kind of beauty. It is beautiful. It's a very beautiful city, but it's a different kind of beauty than maybe like if you're thinking of Paris, it's not the same thing, or Barcelona and Paris over here, New York and Berlin are over here. They're beautiful
Yeah.
in their own different ways.
If you ask me, for me, Berlin is unbeautiful. I mean, it's busy. There is a lot happening here, like a lot
It's
of
chaos.
like,
Yeah,
markets, whatever, concerts, whatever you like. But I find it unbeautiful. I mean, the opposite of
exactly.
beautiful, ugly. Okay, I cannot really call it ugly, but it's non-harmonic in my opinion. But still, I
Right.
like it because it's huge. It's huge. It's buzzing.
Yeah, I like it too because it's such a vibrant place, and maybe I think of it as a different kind of beautiful. I don't know. I like the energy. It's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we know where we are. Let's talk about who we are. I'm Josh, as always, and you, my friend, can you introduce yourself to the audience so that I
Yeah,
don't
I
screw
can
it up?
try at least. My first time introducing myself to people. Yeah, just kidding. I'm Pasha. I currently work at BellSoft. My previous employer was JetBrains, and I'm involved in the Java and Java community for a long, long time. I don't know, 15 years. Okay, for sure, Josh is here much longer. I don't know, what is it like, 25 years in Java, 30? From which
Yeah.
version do you remember Java?
So that's the thing. I was using it since 1.0, but that was in school, and also that was for like applets and all that. And there was a couple of years where I just didn't see the potential. I was using it because I didn't know what else to use, but it was sort of I was about to go to .NET.
I do
So
remember that time. It was right before Java 6 and right after Java 6, because we were expecting a lot from this release, but they released basically nothing. I mean, we expected lambdas and so on, and they will release them many years later. I felt that Java is stagnating.
okay, that's a 10 years later. Yeah, I agree. There's been some bumps in the road, but right now I think it's been so good, so good right now.
Yeah, Java is blooming.
Yeah. And so you work where?
So I work at BellSoft, and what BellSoft is, it's basically a one-stop shop for all the Java development, because we do our own JDK distribution called Liberica JDK. We make our own GraalVM distribution called NIK, Native Image Kit, and we even have our own Linux called Alpaquita Linux. It can kind of remind you about Alpine. And yeah, we are a fork of Alpine, and you probably know that they have this libc built in called Muscle, libc version called Muscle, and we have optimized version of Muscle with some architecture-specific optimizations in Muscle, which is very nice. We just took them from glibc, which is standard implementation in Linux, and put it inside, and now it's kind of more performant, and it's also very small. It's comparable to Alpine in its size, like 3 megabytes or something like that. I don't remember the exact size, and obviously it changes every release. And yeah, we obviously have all kinds of commercial support for all this stuff and so on, but it's interesting by itself.
Yeah. So, okay, there's so much there. Let's start at the beginning. What is the main thing that people use that's open source?
It's Spring. The main thing people use that's open source is Spring, obviously. But if we are talking about our things, the most people use Liberica JDK. It's JDK, and it's growing in its popularity. And of course, I want to be even more popular. And I know that we have some pros compared to other vendors.
Can you talk about those? So first of all, people, if people want to use that, they can get it through Homebrew, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, or your package manager of choice usually.
Yeah.
But if people have ever looked at Homebrew or SDK Man or something like this, there's going to be a 1,000 choices there. Why would somebody choose the open source Liberica
I see several options there. Of course, if you type something like SDK list Java, it will be crazy amount of entries. I mean, everything starting from Oracle JDK and up to Submachine. But Liberica has several interesting perks. First of all, they have JavaFX support. I know it's not that popular, especially it's not popular among the Spring developers for obvious reasons. They use web interfaces. Am I wrong?
Well, you're right, but also I tried it out, and the native support there was great too. So let's talk about that in a minute. But go on.
Yeah. Also, we have multiple LTSs because, well, for Oracle there is basically one LTS. It's currently it's Java 21, if I'm not mistaken. We have LTS releases for Java 8, Java 11, Java 17, and Java 21, and that's very cool. And also, if you look at the same SDK list Java, you will see that we have released Java 22 like 3 days after the upstream release. So we are extremely fast. Some other vendors still didn't release it officially. And also, some vendors do not have support for the JDKs. We have even free support. I mean, you can write something on our site and we will be happy to assist you. You should know it. It's not something written in SDK Man, obviously. But if you will visit the site, you will immediately see it. And again, well, we have lots of perks, but JavaFX. We have lots of things included. We have Shenandoah enabled in our JDKs and so on.
Shenandoah being the garbage collector.
Yeah, being a garbage collector.
And what does the garbage collector do there that's different?
Say it again, please.
What is why use Shenandoah? Like, why would it use something else?
There is no such thing as you should use certain GC in your application. There is no silver bullet in this. You should choose your own poison. But Shenandoah is ultra low latency. So it doesn't create this huge stop-the-world pauses in the application, which is sometimes what you need. You obviously should pay for it in some way. So probably your throughput of your application will be lower. But if you care about latency, it might be extremely important. And it's
so for desktop applications,
not only for
people are staring at the screen.
No, well, I would say that for financial applications where you really care about money transactions, and they should be fast because your customer do not want to stay behind your cash machine like for 30 seconds waiting for something to happen. Well, they will do it because they don't have choice, but they don't want to. So if you strive to create a better user experience, you usually care about latency.
Yes, and same thing for stocks and things like this. Yeah. Okay.
And for stocks especially. For stocks especially, I mean, it's especially the case for stocks because every nanosecond matters. Right.
That's awesome. And then you say it also So that also comes with JavaFX. Is that what you're saying, or what's the support there?
Well, it has multiple, how do I call it, versions. Some of them with JavaFX and some of them without them. And we also have JRE, which is you don't even have Java C in there, but it's extremely slim.
Right.
So everything depends on what you need, but we do support JavaFX, and that's cool.
So I thought JavaFX was no longer part of the JDK. It was delivered as separate Maven artifacts. What does it mean to support JavaFX if it's just a library?
Well, we want to be sure that they work nicely together, that it's not a huge pain to connect JavaFX to your application. And currently, it is a pain, actually. You can add a dependency on JavaFX to your application, but there are chances it just won't work. Because it's compatible. Yeah, I don't know. You build with another version of JDK, or you run with another version of JDK, and they have different support for JavaFX, and it's not just plug and play any version to any version. We can be just sure that you have compatible version of JavaFX. And if I remember correctly, I am not sure here because I'm not a developer of JavaFX part, but we put some security fixes in there because somehow JavaFX can also have security vulnerabilities. I don't even know how it works, but something in there.
Okay. And then, and you mentioned NIK.
Yes.
What is this?
So there is a huge project by Oracle called GraalVM, and it has several parts. It has its own JIT, just-in-time compiler. It has a virtual machine called Truffle, which can run Ruby on JVM for you and so on. And also they have a very interesting project in there called GraalVM Native Image. Native Image is a thing that allows you to compile your Java application into a single binary that will start like immediately, like, I don't know, milliseconds, maybe even less.
Yeah.
And it's always a matter of profiling and so on, but it starts extremely fast. Binaries are slightly bigger. Binaries can be several hundred megabytes, but probably it's fine because warm-up or startup times are something you really care about. So yeah, and Native Image Kit is our spin on the GraalVM Native Image, which also, to me, the most exciting part is GraalVM Native Image basically works only on Linux. Or at least last time I checked. Maybe I'm wrong.
It works on, I think you're wrong, but it's okay. It works on all operating systems, but their binaries are only for those operating systems. So if you compile in Windows, it only works in Windows.
We just do the same. We just do the same.
Right.
We have installer for Mac. We can installer for Windows, and it's just a nice thing to have. You do not need to go to a separate vendor like Oracle and download their binaries. You can download our binaries with our guarantees and so on. Because, well, again, you can do all the Java with BellSoft's products.
Right. So one of the things I loved about the native image toolkit is, like you just mentioned, the JavaFX support and the swing support is very good.
Yeah.
And so I actually tried this out.
Why?
Let me show you. Because I just was, because it's very hard to make it work in regular.
GraalVM Native Image. That's true.
Yeah, so
it's not hard, it's impossible because they just didn't build this layer. They just didn't build the AWT layer for GraalVM. Right.
So here's a Git repository, github.com, Coffee Software Show, Desktop Java and GraalVM, and I've set up an envrc file to initialize SDK man, and then install this JDK. You have to this distribution. So it's the NIK, Liberica distribution. This is from about 6 months ago. And you do SDK install Java, then the version, and then use it if it's, to make sure it's being used in the current shell. And so you go to this, when you clone this and you run that, if you have dir env installed. It'll be there. And Swing. Let me see. Swing was pretty straightforward. I even used Spring Boot here, but I'm using the GraalVM. I said Java headless equals false, so it actually has a UI, right? And then in the code, pretty straightforward. Nothing really special here. I mean, I'm using Spring. I'm using Spring to create Swing. I'm using Spring to create a Swing
when
application.
you say straightforward, people should be prepared, because Swing code is never straightforward. I mean, it's not how we build our today's web interface or whatever. It's a very, very imperative.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like Swing. It's actually, I still think it's a nice model compared to what came before it, and even today, I think, it's fine. Okay. So I built an application here, and it is just objects, so you can manage it, and you can manage the lifecycle inside of Spring, the dependency injection framework. So okay, great. That one works as we'd expect. But here's JavaFX. I couldn't get Spring, Spring, to work elegantly with JavaFX, but that's a JavaFX problem, not a NIK problem. It does work, but here I had to add a bunch of stuff, and this is I'm using JavaFX. You can see this is a more complex example.
Yeah.
But then what does the code look like here? Spring Boot, JavaFX application, creating a stage, and then a simple HTTP endpoint. Not an HTTP endpoint. This is a component controller for JavaFX, actually.
So Spring works for you with JavaFX and all this nice notation. So FXML.
Yeah, kind of, but I think I had issues with this one, but I do remember running JavaFX by itself just fine, and I was blown away because all the graphic stuff doesn't work in regular AOT. GraalVM support in regular GraalVM. So to have NIK was really convenient. I even worked with the iText, iText people. iText is the PDF library, and I helped them get one of their desktop user interfaces working, and I think we used Liberica as well for that for our little demo. It's just really very interesting, powerful distribution, and it serves a use case. Obviously, if you have that use case, you're going to want to use NIK. I was very impressed with that.
Are you really aware of people who use JavaFX with Spring, or it was just a matter?
I think I'm it. I think it's just me. I've put out a couple of videos over the years. One with JavaFX and Spring, and then this more recent one on desktop. Swing and AOT, because that was what I was interested in. Is you build some software in Java, compile it using NIK, you get a .exe or something, and you double click on it, and there's a user interface and a full rich experience, and that's it. You don't have to. You can distribute a MSI to install it. Like it's the full program right there. You don't have to.
Like in good old times when we used C++ builder or whatever.
Yeah, it's an actual binary. You just distribute the binary on any store, anywhere, Windows Store, or put it on the Mac Store if you have a Mac one or whatever. It's a native desktop user interface. It's awesome, and it's fast because it's.
And also, the most important for today's users thing here is you don't need to. Your customers won't need to install JDK or whatever because they hate
don't have to distribute
low-level stuff.
Yep. Couldn't get easier. It's really, and it's fast. So it's because Java, when you start up a desktop program, I want it to boom, instantly. I don't want to wait. And so, I obviously if it's a native image, you're not waiting. It's just straight to fast.
We probably should be honest and mention some limitations of native image kit and GraalVM native image. It's that
what are the limitations?
You cannot load external classes. So if it's your case for whatever reason, like you have a plugin system or whatever that can, during the runtime of application, load the plugin and work with it, native image it cannot do it. But there is
that's true.
thing. Yeah. Continue.
That's true, but I think that's actually a good thing. It's a feature, right, for security perspective. you have a very fixed surface area.
Yes, everything is very fixed. Everything is very closed and sound. But sometimes you need it. Even in Spring applications, you sometimes need to load some plugin or have whatever plugin system with PF4J or whatever. And actually, there is a solution for it in all three of them: JDK, Spring, and Liberica JDK, and also Alpaca Linux, which is called CRAC, right? Coordinated restore checkpoint.
Yeah, different solution. That's not native images. That's just fast startup. But it's still a regular JVM program. Yeah, that's a good point. And you're saying Liberica supports that as well?
Yes, Liberica support, and also you have to use Linux distribution which supports it, because it's kind of complex machinery. It works only on Linux by design. There is no such layer. It is called CRU, like coordinated restore in user space, it's called, right?
Yeah.
And yes, we have this Alpaca Linux. I mentioned it earlier in the beginning of our episode, and which we support also. And it has this CRIU layer. And then Spring has specific support for CRAC, right? It was built into Spring like a year ago or so.
Spring Boot. Yep, 3.1 exactly. So we have support for both GraalVM and CRAC, coordinated restore at checkpoint, right? In Spring Boot, as of 3.1, we have both, and they're great. But it's very like OpenJDK doesn't support CRAC. Some vendors do, like Liberica, like Azul, who created the specification in the first place, and some support GraalVM, like OpenJDK doesn't support GraalVM, but obviously GraalVM the distribution does, and you do. So like it's very rare to find one vendor that supports both technologies, and you're not picking a side. You're just saying just use what makes it easier to go to production. You also have Swing desktop user interface support, which is amazing because again, GraalVM doesn't support that as easily, so it's just all these things are under one distribution. It's really good. Really good.
Encompassing solution. It's pretentious, right? But beautiful.
No, nice. I'm a fan, and so I think obviously it's worth mentioning the Spring team. We are part of. A lot of us work for a company called Broadcom, and Broadcom has something they sell called the Tanzu Spring runtime, which is it's basically a support thing. If you want to use Spring technologies beyond their open source support date, you can, of course, but there's no support, or you can buy the Tanzu Spring runtime, and part of that is, of course, if you're, it's spring.io/support, right? I don't know all the details here, but basically, I think the open source support for like Spring Boot is like a year. So if you use 3.1 from a year ago, I think it's about to enter for now, but I think 3.3 is coming out very soon, right? Like this month, May. So if that happens, then I think you need to use, let me see, I'm checking. We can answer the question by going to spring.io/projects/spring-boot, and then going to the support tab. And the support tab says that 3.2 is currently in open source support, and that support will end on the November of this year. 3.1, the support will end May 18th, so 3 days from now, right? So it's about a year. It started its open source support in May 18th of 2023. It'll end May 18th of 2024, but the commercial support will go until August of 2025, right? Now, why does this matter for most people? Well, because obviously and I'm sure you, Pasha, and others, we all want you to use the latest technology.
Yeah,
that way you don't have to. Yeah, we all want you to be on the latest. It's better for everybody. It's less maintenance. It's less work. It's less risk. It's just better, right? And we're all getting nicer tech as well. So
new features. I personally like new features.
New features.
I don't care that much about security.
Well, I mean, I do care about security too, but all those things are just better. But if you really want to, and we understand why, if you want to use one of those older ones, then of course you can use the Tanzu Spring runtime. Now, part of that is that there's support for JDK distribution, right? Your JDK distribution, and we have access. We have I'm not sure if it's just anyone or what, but anyway, we have access to VMware distributions of BellSoft's Liberica JDK, right?
If I remember correctly, it's default in Tanzu, right?
It's what?
It's a default distribution in Tanzu, right?
I think so. Yeah, I don't really understand all the details here, but the point is there's a go-to-market there between our organizations, and obviously,
I'm very far from the financial part of this whole endeavor.
Yeah, exactly. No idea. But all the stuff we've just talked about is open source.
It's being used. It's appreciated by customers, it seems. And also, I wanted to say that Tanzu is overall a very interesting cloud. They have a lot of beautiful, very interesting services. If you are not familiar with Tanzu, you probably want to spend like an hour of your life just to research what services do they have, because transactional geo-distributed key-value storage is something you don't really find in your usual life, and sometimes you may need it. I can easily come up with ideas where you might need it. So you have more than one reason to move to Tanzu, I think.
Oh, I mean, obviously I'm a fan. But anyway, I just enough about that.
I don't have to be. I mean, they don't pay me. So
right. I think it's just a really good situation. The Liberica JDK is just a great example of both the richness of the Java community, that we have so many different distributions, and I think it's a testament to how cool Liberica is. What was why did Liberica? Why did you create? Why create Liberica? What was the motivation for starting another JDK distribution in the beginning?
It will take some time for me to put it in polite words, and it's the first time I actually answer this question. Let's put it this way. There are lots of customers on the market who demand some level of support for technologies that Oracle is not interested in, like ARM32, for example. ARM32 is kind of a rare beast. Nobody uses it.
Right.
But still, there are some customers who are interested in it. So actually, it was the first thing of which BellSoft did. They supported ARM32 as a platform, and they're actually creators of JEP. I don't remember the exact number. I'm sorry. I should be prepared better, probably. But there is a JEP on OpenJDK side about JEP ARM32 support. And that's what BellSoft did. And then there were just a lot of things. Again, JavaFX, Oracle doesn't care. That's why it was open source. It was given to support to other organizations. We need to support it. Correct is not a part of JDK at all, but there are customers who are interested in it. And also, we believe that like 80% of Java market is Spring. They use Spring.
Yeah.
Thank you, George, because it's your job to do to make it, and you do it amazingly. And also, Spring is just amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Spring is an amazing framework. Not that I do anything. But yeah, so it's good to have that support. I think it's a really cool project. Can you tell me about when the project was created? Like, how new is it? How long has it been around? The company, the group.
I actually don't remember, but I do remember another thing. It's a very interesting part. Some developers inside BellSoft worked at Sun at time when like Java 1.0 was just initiated. They didn't work on Project Org our listeners and viewers who do not know about Project Org, it was a code name of the project which later became Java. But our folks work there and in different places on version 1.0. So they're from a very beginning. And formally, I think BellSoft's is over 10 years old, but I don't remember the exact timeline, to be honest with you.
Also, but the point is, what I was trying to, you just made it perfectly. The point I was trying to make is, if people are wondering if they can trust this company that they may not have heard of, the answer is yes. These are the same people that were working on the JDK for decades. You know, they can help. You know.
Yeah, for really, sure. Really cool. You just know Dmitry Chuko.
I just saw you posted on LinkedIn, and I just connected with you there. By the way, please consider connecting with me.
Sure.
I just saw that you posted that your CEO Alexander Belokrilov. Say Belokrilov. No, say again.
Belokrilov. Slavic names are hard. I'm sorry for that.
Is what?
Yeah, Slavic short names are hard to pronounce, I know.
Oh, no, they're not. They're just hard for me. That's not the same. I mean, obviously, there's lots of people who speak Slavic languages who have no trouble, and I will do better next time. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but there's an article here on Forbes by the CEO. Forbes, yeah. Forbes, you know, the financial magazine and media empire and all that stuff. And I guess your CEO did an article in there. Can you talk about what that was about?
Actually, he has multiple articles on Forbes. It's part of let's call it our PR strategy. He usually is talking about broader, like even not only about Java, about Java landscape in general, or about, I don't know, where we as development are going. Like he likes to talk about this global trends. I didn't read the last article yet, but I know this. I know his point of view.
Right.
Currently, I clearly see in the article that there is a point how to select a vendor of OpenJDK. I think we can guess. I think we can guess where he's leading you, because he's kind of biased a little towards his company. But again,
I don't blame him.
Yeah, me too. It's just a beautiful. I think compared to any other distribution, we have some bonuses they do not provide you with. Sometimes they're paid, sometimes they're paid. For example, we have this feature. If you, for some reason, cannot move from Java 8 to latest and greatest, at least Java 21, we have multiple features backported from Java 21. I mean, JVM features backported from Java 21 to Java 8, like garbage collection improvement and lots of other stuff, invoke dynamic, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a paid feature. Again, I should understand it, but you shouldn't understand that. But still, if you, for some reason, need more, I don't know, more performance from your application, and you can just move to the new version of Java, it is a case for many organizations. You can stay on the same version with lots of compatibility guarantees, and get memory footprint improvement and performance improvements for this money, and on the same Java. It kind of makes sense for some organizations, for which I'm a little bit sorry, because it's nice to have these records and so on, right?
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. This has been really good. I just wanted people to kind of get a chance to meet you and to meet Liberica and BellSoft. I just, obviously I've had a great, the team, the Spring team, the open source Spring team and the open source Liberica team are in contact a fair bit, just because they're working on stuff that we also support in the open source world, like Crack, like GraalVM, etc. And I've just always been very impressed by Yeah, you already have the newest and latest and the greatest, and have even improved it a little bit. And
we are trying hard. Yeah,
it's
we are
really
trying
good.
hard to provide our customers with the best experience we can do. And also, yeah, it's
Well done.
probably worth mentioning that if for some reason you use AWT or Swing, for some people it's a case.
Right.
We actually are a huge contributor to these parts of JDK. And that's why we have an awesome expertise in it. And that's why we can build it into our native image kit.
It's just nice to have all this stuff. And Spring Boot apps with their server-side code also run just fine as GraalVM style native images, there as well. So you get the same benefits as you do from GraalVM, plus this extra support for desktop UIs and all that. If Java 20, let's say that Java 23 comes out, soon, right, in a few months.
Yeah.
How soon after that does Liberica update?
So if it's 90 days from today to Java 23, so to Liberica it's like 93 days or so. From 92 to 94. I can't be absolutely sure, but we catch up really fast because we know all the stuff going on in OpenJDK. We participate in all the mailing. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we participate in all important mailing lists. We participate. You will probably see them. Okay, we will see each other on Spring.io, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Spring.io. End of the month, basically. April, May 30th, I think. Like it's it's very soon.
31st, I think.
Yeah. I either way, yeah, it's soon. In a few weeks or less, by the way, for people watching this video in 20 years, we're talking about the year 2024. It's right. It's the 15th of May, 2024, as we record this. And then, if you're wondering, in 20 years, what happened? And
yeah, it was an amazing Spring.io, folks. It was amazing Spring.io.
Yeah, it was the best. It's just gonna be. It was you just missed out. It was like the Woodstock of software conferences. The greatest thing that ever happened. Basically, that's the facts. Well, anyway, I'll see you there. I look forward to it. Are you? I have some questions now as we wrap up here. Are you on the internet? Do you want to be found? And if so, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can see my Twitter handle right here. It's Asmodio. Asmodio.
What is that?
I'm sorry for that. I mean, I was young, and then it was too late to change my handle in internet. And yeah, I can put everything else wherever. Show notes.
What does Asmodio mean?
You don't want to know?
Okay, I don't want to know. Never mind. Moving on. So yeah, ASM0DI0.
Yeah, but DI at least
Twitter
looks like dependency injection.
Yes, that's true. So that's on Twitter, GitHub, LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's my Twitter, and I am. Where should I put it? Probably in the public chat on you. Oh, I can't do it. Give me a second.
Yeah.
I'm fighting with. It will be something like this on all other platforms, like LinkedIn, GitHub, whatever, all the stuff, everything but Twitter.
Okay, that's the one then. All right, my friend, this is great. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me. It was amazing, and thank you for jumping here like in 1 hour and a half. It's so fast for a person as busy as you. I mean, I appreciate it.
No, I'm glad we got to do this. This is a really important meeting I've been trying to have, so that's good. Thanks everybody for joining us, and stay tuned. Obviously, we'll be streaming some more in the next few days. Bye-bye.